Hello everyone, I wish you all a wonderful and peaceful day. Today, we're diving into a story that starts as the happiest moment of a lifetime. A perfect wedding date has just been chosen, but suddenly turns into the most heartbreaking tragedy in just seconds. What really happened on that day, and who is responsible? Stick around till the end to find out. If you enjoy emotional stories like this, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next video. Let's begin. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a story that begins with what feels like the happiest moment in someone's life, only to spiral into absolute heartbreak and tragedy in the blink of an eye. So stick around, because this one is going to hit hard. In the warm, familiar atmosphere of the family home, Uncle walked in carrying that gentle, reassuring smile we all know so well. His deep and steady voice bringing the long-awaited joyful news that he had already checked the auspicious dates and found the perfect wedding day for Thắm and her partner. Thắm stood right there in the middle of the room, her eyes lighting up instantly with pure, radiant happiness, her heart racing with excitement and emotion as she finally heard that the wedding day she had dreamed about for so long was now officially set. Uncle calmly reminded both sides of the family to start preparing everything carefully and thoughtfully. And Thắm bowed her head in deep gratitude, her voice trembling with overwhelming feelings as she thanked him sincerely for all his effort. Words of blessing and good wishes filled the entire room, wrapping everyone in warmth. And Thắm smiled so brightly and beautifully that it seemed like all her hopes and dreams were finally coming true right before her eyes. The air felt incredibly light and golden, like warm sunlight streaming through the windows and gently pushing away every single worry or doubt that had ever existed. Thắm could clearly sense that true happiness was so close she could almost reach out and touch it. Just one short wedding ceremony away from building the life she had always imagined. Uncle offered her a few more sincere, fatherly words of comfort, gently advising her to take good care of her health and eat well in the coming days, then said his warm goodbyes with that lingering affection only close family members can share. In that beautiful, unforgettable moment, Thắm truly felt like she was standing at the very peak of joy, her heart completely full of bright, hopeful dreams about the loving family home she was about to create, the future that finally seemed within her grasp after so much waiting. But just seconds after that pure happiness reached its highest point, everything changed in the most devastating way possible. Suddenly, the radiant smile on Tham's lips vanished completely as an incredibly sharp, twisting pain struck her without any warning at all. She instinctively clutched her belly, her face twisting in shock and agony. Her knees gave way, and she collapsed hard onto the floor right there in front of everyone. Blood started flowing out rapidly, staining the ground in horrifying dark red patches that spread wider with every passing second. Panicked screams immediately filled the house, echoing off the walls and turning the once joyful space into a scene of pure chaos. Everyone rushed over in terror, Mother's voice shaking violently with fear and desperation as she kept calling out her daughter's name again and again. "Thám, my child, what's wrong?" Thám writhed on the floor, in unbearable, excruciating agony, her face turning deathly pale, while the blood continued pouring out without stopping. The entire atmosphere flipped from warm celebration to absolute horror in a single heartbeat, like a sudden violent storm ripping through the room and destroying everything in its path. Tham's painful, heartbreaking cries mixed with the chaotic shouts and screams of everyone around her, creating a total, uncontrollable panic that no one could manage. The pain felt like it was tearing her body apart from the inside, forcing her to sob desperately and call out to her mother for help in the most pitiful voice imaginable. That dark red blood kept spreading wider and wider across the floor, marking the tragic, irreversible turning point of the happiness that had only just begun to bloom so beautifully moments earlier. Right in the middle of that intense physical agony, the situation became even worse as a fierce argument suddenly exploded between the family members. Tham's mother screamed accusations at the other woman, Quinn's mother, claiming loudly that she had held Tham's hand and deliberately caused her to fall. The other woman fought back just as fiercely, raising her voice and insisting over and over that Tham had simply fallen on her own with no one else involved. Loud shouts and angry words echoed everywhere in the small space. Tham lay right there in the center of the storm, sobbing uncontrollably and begging through her tears, "Mom, save me, it hurts so much," while suffering the worst physical and emotional pain anyone could imagine. People crowded tightly around the scene, the air growing so thick with suffocating tension that it felt almost impossible to breathe. Tham's mother kept criticizing and accusing with raw anger in her voice, while the other woman continued defending herself strongly without backing down. Tears streamed endlessly down Tham's face, her whole body shaking violently from the combination of searing pain and overwhelming fear. The climax of suspicion, rage, blame, and heartbreak surged forward like a sharp blade, slicing through whatever fragile trust remained in the family. The loud, heated argument blended horribly with Tham's weak, heartbreaking cries of pain, pushing the entire scene to its absolute peak of chaos, despair, and emotional destruction. As the chaos continued, everyone around became completely panicked and started urgently calling for the doctor to come as fast as humanly possible. Tham was gradually slipping into unconsciousness, her strength fading fast. Anxious, fearful whispers spread quickly through the house, while people tried their best to hold themselves together in the middle of this overwhelming emotional storm. The doctor was summoned with desperate haste, and everyone struggled to stay calm, even though their hearts were breaking. Tham now lay completely motionless on the floor, her face ghostly pale, her breathing faint and shallow. A heavy, oppressive atmosphere wrapped itself around the entire house like a dark cloud. Prayers and deep fears mixed together in the tense air as people stood helplessly by her side. Their hearts tightened with unease while they waited anxiously for any news or help from the doctor. The intense pressure and fragile thread of hope felt exactly like a tiny flickering flame fighting to survive in complete darkness. Tham sank deeper and deeper into unconsciousness, leaving all her loved ones trapped in unending torment, fear, and desperate worry for her life. When the doctor finally arrived and examined her carefully, he announced in a grave, serious tone that Tham's condition was extremely critical, showing clear signs of miscarriage along with very heavy blood loss. Everyone in the room froze in stunned silence when they heard that the baby could not be saved. The only priority now had to be saving Tham's own life before it was too late. Heart-wrenching cries broke out instantly from multiple people as the devastating pain of losing the unborn child hit the entire room like a violent, crushing wave. The doctor quickly asked everyone to step outside immediately so he could begin the emergency medical procedure without any further delay. The air became filled with desperate pleas, sobbing, and flowing tears as this tragic turning point completely shattered every heart present. Tham still lay there motionless, her life now hanging by the thinnest possible thread between continuing to live and slipping away forever. Hey everyone, continuing straight from that terrifying moment where Tham's life hung by the thinnest thread, the doctor worked urgently inside the room while the family waited outside in complete agony. After what felt like an eternity, the doctor finally stepped out with a heavy face and delivered the devastating news in a calm but serious tone. Tham's condition had been extremely critical, with clear signs of miscarriage and severe blood loss, and although they had fought hard to save her life, sadly, they could not save the baby. The entire room erupted in heart-wrenching cries as the painful reality of losing the unborn child crashed down like a massive wave, breaking everyone's hearts at once. The doctor explained they had to prioritize the mother's life first, and everyone was asked to stay calm while Tham remained inside, recovering from the emergency procedure. The air was thick with pleas, tears, and unbearable sorrow as this tragic turning point left every single person shattered, their hopes for the future completely crushed in that one moment. Time passed slowly until Tham finally began to regain consciousness, her eyes fluttering open in confusion and weakness. The moment she became aware of her surroundings, she immediately started asking about the baby in a voice filled with panic and desperation, her words breaking into loud sobs as she demanded to know where her child was. Past happiness that had felt so real just moments earlier now lay completely shattered around her. Tham writhed on the bed in deep despair, her body still weak but her emotions exploding as she cried out again and again, "Where is my child? Tell me, what happened to my baby?" Tears poured down her face non-stop, her voice hoarse from crying and the regret and torment of not being able to protect her unborn child consumed her entirely. Loved ones tried their best to comfort her, speaking soft words of support, but the loss was simply too great, feeling like a dark abyss that had swallowed every bit of hope and joy she once held. Tham cried until she had almost no strength left, her heart filled with overwhelming sadness, questioning why this had happened and blaming herself in waves of guilt that refused to fade. The pain was not just physical anymore. It cut deep into her soul, making her relive the moment over and over while everyone around her stood helplessly, sharing in her suffering. As Tham continued facing this immense pain of losing her child. The lingering arguments from earlier still simmered in the background, with voices occasionally rising again as family members tried to understand what had truly caused the fall. In the middle of all this emotional chaos, the male character, Miss Tin, stayed right by her side, offering deep and sincere love through his gentle presence and comforting words. He held her carefully, whispering that he was still there and would not leave her alone again, promising to support her through every difficult step ahead. Thắm whispered through her tears, "I have really lost my baby. I've truly lost our child," her voice breaking with raw regret and heartbreak that touched everyone listening. Yet slowly, under the encouragement and love surrounding her, she began to accept the painful reality, even though the sorrow still lingered heavily in her chest. The pressure of the tragedy and the faint spark of hope started to return as she was reminded that her own health needed to stabilize first, that the most important thing now was focusing on recovery while leaning on the love and presence of those who truly cared. Love and quiet support became her anchor in the storm, helping her find the small strength to keep going despite the immense loss. The story closed in a mixture of flowing tears and quiet promises to stay together, to face whatever came next as a family, even though the wound would take a very long time to heal. What began as the happiest day with Uncle bringing wedding news had turned into one of the darkest chapters in Tham's life, showing how quickly joy can transform into unimaginable pain. The suspicions about what really happened during that fall still hung in the air, leaving many unanswered questions that might surface later. If you were moved by Tham's heartbreaking journey, don't forget to like this video. Share it with anyone who needs to see a story about love, loss, and resilience, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next emotional story. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you or someone close ever faced a sudden tragedy that changed everything in a moment? How did you find the strength to continue? I read every single comment, and your stories truly inspire me. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Stay strong, take care of yourselves and the people you love, and I'll see you in the next video. In a moment filled with pure joy, Uncle arrives with the long-awaited auspicious wedding date for Thám. Her face lights up with happiness as she dreams of her future married life. However, within seconds, everything shatters. Thám suddenly collapses in excruciating pain, bleeding heavily on the floor. Chaos erupts as her mother accuses Quinn's mother of pushing her, while the other woman fiercely denies it. Amid the heated argument and Tham's desperate cries, she loses consciousness. The doctor rushes in and delivers the devastating news. Thám has suffered a miscarriage. Although her life is saved, the baby cannot be. When Thám wakes up, she breaks down in unbearable grief, repeatedly asking for her lost child. Supported by Mr. Tin's loving presence, she slowly faces the painful reality, while suspicions about the tragic fall still linger in the air.